What's happening, guys? Welcome to Let's Talk Comics, and today I want to talk about Ghostlore. This is a mini-series from Boom Studios. It was written by Cullen Bunn with art by Leo Max. That's one word, like Madonna or Pele, I suppose. This mini-series came out in 2023, and I was reading it, and I've started missing issues here and there, so I just decided to wait and put the whole mini-series together and then sit down and read it when I got a chance. And I finally got the last 2 issues I needed from mycomicshop.com, and I sat down and read the 12 issues Monday night and Tuesday night, and it was a really solid miniseries. I have become a fan of Cullen Bunn. I've spoken about his work on Harrow County, ever how it's pronounced, which I really enjoyed. And Ghostlore here, I don't think it's as strong as Harrow County is, but it's very good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It had kind of almost like the Stephen King novel Stand. It almost had kind of vibes like that. We open up, I'll give a little rundown of what the general story is. We open up and we see the dad here and his wife, teenage daughter, and son. The dad is a preacher at a small town, and we see that the dad is starting to have worries that he's losing his congregation. He's very worried about the attitude that his daughter has towards him. The daughter is kind of an angsty teenager. The son has become very withdrawn from the family dynamic. He keeps to himself. He doesn't speak anymore. And the wife is kind of like the go-between between all, for all of this that's happening. So they leave church that night, and they're driving down the road, and the daughter, she's driving, and then she sees this ghost, this entity, or whatever you want to call it, in the road. She swerves to avoid it, plows right into this tree. The daughter and the father are in the front seat. They're still alive. We see in the back seat the son and the mom have passed away, but the dad and the daughter can still hear them talking. So because of this accident, the father and the daughter, they can hear ghosts and they can see ghosts. So that is basically what the gist of this story is. The son, his spirit from the back seat, tells the dad and the daughter about what happened to him and why he had became so withdrawn, why he had kind of shut himself off from the rest of the family. So that is really the setup for this story here. The dad and daughter survived this horrific car crash, and now they have the ability to see and speak to ghosts. The ghosts are very aggressive, and the ghosts feel like they are ignored, and they want to tell their story to the dad or the daughter. They just want to be heard. That's kind of like the overwhelming concept of the book. There's these ghosts want to be heard. Ghosts want to be heard, and each ghost they run into tells them their story, tells them what the events are, what led up to them dying, and with them telling that story, it kind of allows them to pass on, to go ahead and move on to the next, the great beyond, or whatever you want to call it. It allows them to stop being ghosts and being trapped in like this limbo or whatever. There's a couple other things that happen. The dad and the daughter, they have a big falling out, and they go their separate ways, and the dad tries to he's trying to find his daughter. And then, like I said, it's very reminiscent of, to me anyway, of Stephen King's book, The Stand, in that you have like the dad and the daughter here, they're trying to do things one way, and there's a rival group of people who are like working for, not really working, but kind of have a evil agenda, and they're crisscrossing America. They're kind of traveling or whatever you want to call it, and the evil group is looking for the dad and the daughter, and the dad and the daughter know that there's a final battle coming. So I really dug this 12-issue miniseries. The artwork I found to be incredibly beautiful. This guy here, Leo Max, very, very talented. I really enjoyed the artwork that they did. He draws these supernatural action scenes. The ghosts are not just like ghosts, they're almost like, demonic type entities, like, squids or monsters, or any crazy type of thing you can think of is what the ghosts can assume this form. But I really enjoyed the artwork. As you can see here, it's a lot of really awesome double page shots. Each story has a ghost in there that the father or the daughter meet, and gives them their story about what happened to them, how they became a ghost. So in that aspect, I really like that as well. And then you have, like I said, the overarching storyline about the good people who are the father and the daughter, and you've got the bad people who are looking to have their own agenda and, basically kind of take out mankind, so to speak. And in the middle of all of that, the dad and the daughter are trying to, mend their relationship, so to speak. But Ghostlore was a 12-issue miniseries for Boom. Came out in 2023. And this is the big bad guy right here, who kind of wants to do things his own way. Came out in 2023. It is collected in trade paperbacks. I believe it's collected in 3 trade paperbacks, which I find really weird, because that would mean there's only 4 issues in each one. I would think it would be a lot more sensible to do 2 trade paperbacks with 6 issues in each one, but I guess for whatever reason they chose not to do that. But since I've become a really big fan of Cullen Bunn, I've kind of started to seek his work out. Like I said, I always had this miniseries set aside, but after reading Harrow County, I really made it a point to go ahead and get all the issues of it that I needed. But I really enjoyed Ghostlore. Like I said before, very much Stand vibes, where you've got rival factions, each with their own agenda, trying to get something done. And I really like that idea of a preacher who's kind of like doubted himself, and his life's kind of fell apart, and he's looking to reunite with his daughter so they can start their life back over. So, I mean, even though like their whole life, because of the car crash, is torn apart, they're really looking, the dad is really looking to kind of bring things back together and get things back to establish some sort of new normal and rekindle a relationship with his daughter. But anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up and say that if you're looking for something that's supernatural, that has a like kind of fatherly, I think they call it like a sad dad vibe, Ghostlore from Boom Studios is the way to go. So till next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day, and bye-bye.